Mm. Well, good evening, guys. Good evening, all of you. Yeah. So last day, Okay. Last day, I've just been asking you about. I'm sorry. Last day I explained you about. Um, okay. Last day, I've just been explained you about this one. Like what is internet? What is internet? And what is meant by domain name? What is meant by hosting an application? Okay. What is meant by hosting an application? What is a hosting? All these things have just been talking about in the previous class. Okay, well, today let me just explain you about this one here. Basically, how to build a web application. How to build a web application actually. Okay, see, if at all you want to just understand about building of a web application, building of web application, how are we going to build a web applications? Yeah, have a look. Already explained you this in the first class about the things. If you want to be one more time, you can just understand. In the year 2002, Microsoft launched a .NET framework, and by using this, we can build applications specific to Windows operating system. In the year 2002, Microsoft launched a .NET framework, and by using this .NET framework, we can build applications specific to Windows operating system. In 2016, .NET Core came into picture, and by using this, we can build cross-platform applications which can run on Windows, Linux, and Mac operating systems. Okay, and if you note it, even in .NET framework or .NET Core, C Sharp is similar, which will not change anything. Array, you work on .NET Core or .NET framework, C Sharp is same only, or nothing will change. Okay. Uh, yeah, in .NET Framework, we are provided with ASP.NET as a technology for building web applications. And under this, we have web forms and MVC again. So listen, in C Sharp, sorry, .NET Framework, Microsoft has given you ASP.NET as a technology for building web applications. And with that, under that, we have web forms and MVC. And in .NET Core, we have been provided with ASP.NET Core as a technology for building web applications. And under this, we have Razor Pages and MVC Core. Array, I explained this all these things in the first class. Do you people remember? I explained all these things in the first class. Do you people remember? The day when I started up the things, I have just been explained you. What is it? In .NET Framework, we have been provided with one technology called ASP.NET. We have been provided with one technology called ASP.NET. And under this, we have two options again. What are the two options? Web Forms and MVC. And in .NET Core, again, we have been provided with ASP.NET Core. In .NET Core, they started calling ASP.NET Core. In .NET Core, we have ASP.NET Core. And coming to ASP.NET Core, in ASP.NET Core, yeah, in ASP.NET Core, again, we have two options. What are the two options? Razor Pages and MVC. Razor Pages and MVC Core. Razor Pages and MVC Core. Yeah, what are we learning here, I said you? What are we learning? Yeah, all of you remember, we are learning web forms. And this MVC and MVC Core, both these two things you don't require to do separately. MVC core, MVC core will be covered for you in a single class. Okay. When you get an admission to MVC, in MVC, I will cover you both MVC as well as MVC core also. Both the two I will be covering you. Okay, now. So that's what. Okay, fine. Now, come below. Read this, all of you. What is ASP.NET? What is ASP.NET? It is an open source web technology from Microsoft for developing websites or web applications. It is a open source web technology for Microsoft for developing websites or web services, web applications. Yeah, it's open source. Open source in the sense the source code is provided to you open. The source code is provided to you open. Yes, yeah, you can go through the appropriate source code of of the classes. If you can go through the source code of the appropriate classes, actually, we can see the source code of all the classes. All the classes. See, in our libraries, all of you, we have. Uh, Tell me, all of you know this, no? What is the default parent class of all the classes? What is the default parent class of all the classes? Object class. Yeah, the default parent class for all the classes, object class. You learnt in the C sharp, remember? Object is a parent of all the classes. If you have a look on this, this is the source code of this is the source code of the object class. This is the source code of that object class. And all of you observe it. All of you observe this one. If you just observe this one, if you just observe this, say public class object, and it has one and only one constructor. It has one and only one constructor. And all of you, do you remember what is that? Object class contains four methods in it: toString, equals, toString equals, next get hash code, get hash code. Yeah, this is the source code of the class. So what do you mean by open source means? What do you mean by open source means? What do you mean by open source means? The source code is free. You can just go and check the code. You can go and check the source code. Did you understand me? The source code is free. You can watch the source code. It is a source code. This is the source code of the method of the object class. This is the source code of the object class. Okay, now? So that's what, like this, we can go through the source code of any class. So open source, the meaning of open source is the source code is just open to you. You can just get the source code of whatever classes you want. Did you understand the term open source? All of you. Did you understand the word open source? Open source means the source code is available to you. You can see the source code. Okay, fine. So that's all. It's an open source web technology from Microsoft. It's an open source web technology from Microsoft for developing websites or web applications. You can develop websites, you can develop web applications also. Both the two things can be developed. Okay. Next, what is a website or web application? What is a website or web application? Both are same only, Bobby. Yesterday I said, these are applications that are hosted on a centralized computer known as a web server. These are applications that are hosted on a centralized computer. These are applications that are hosted um, on a centralized computer known as a web server, and then given for clients to access, and then given for clients to access. Clients can now access them. Clients can now access them from any device with the help of internet, and they are also called as websites, which are in turn a collection of files known as web pages. All of you can read this particular description. What is a website or a web application? All of you understood? Okay. Now, what is a web page? What is a web page? A web page is a collection of information that is provided by the website or application to user that are accessible from any device like a computer, mobile, tablet, smart TV, smartwatch, etc. A web page is nothing but a collection of information. Last class we talked on this here that is provided by the website or a web application, that is provided by a website or web application to users that are accessible from any device like a computer. They're accessible from any device like a computer, mobile, tablet, smartphone, smartwatch, etc. A website or application can contain many web pages in it that are linked together in a coherent fashion. A web page or a website can contain many links, many things in it. All are linked in a coherent fashion. Are you clear? All are connected in a coherent fashion. What is it? All are connected in a coherent fashion. Say if you open a web page, from there, if you open a website here, Google or Facebook or something, see from there only you'll be finding up links to go to the next pages. From there only you'll be finding up all the links to go to the next pages. Am I right or wrong? Okay. From there directly you'll be finding up all the links to go to the next pages. You don't require to just go for opening each and every page. You open one page. From there you can just log in into all the pages. From there you can just jump into all the pages. So that's what I'm telling you, that are linked together in a coherent fashion. Linked together in a coherent fashion. They are all linked to you in a coherent fashion, each other. Okay, now? Next. Web pages are two types. All of you carefully understand. Web pages are two types. What are the two types of web pages? Static web pages and dynamic web pages. Web pages are divided into two types here: static web pages and dynamic web pages. What are static web pages and what are dynamic web pages? Come on, listen. What are static web pages and what are dynamic web pages? Okay, let me explain. Static web pages means static web pages means listen to me. Static web pages. What are static web pages? Very simple here. Static web pages are nothing but a page which is static pages are nothing but a page which is directly launched when you request. A page which is launched, a page which is launched means based on a request. See, take a login page. Take a login page. A login page is a static page here. A login page is a static page when you send a request. Okay, a login page just simply you send a request and automatically the page is downloaded for you on this on your client on your computer now. You send a request, automatically the page is going to be downloaded for you onto your computer. That is what exactly we call it as um, see, yeah, www.facebook.com. I got a page. Tell me, is this page designed and kept ready on the server for us to download or not? Tell me, the page is readily kept on the server or not? The page is readily kept on the server. So when I send a request, automatically the page is going to be downloaded for you onto the client system. Automatically, the page is going to be downloaded for you onto the client system. Okay. So that is what we call as a static page. Static page means the page is designed and kept on the server. So whenever a request goes to the page, automatically the page gets downloaded onto your computer. Whenever the request goes to the page, automatically the page is going to be downloaded onto your computer. That is what we call as a static page. That is what exactly we call as a static page. The page is ready on the server. You send a request, the page is downloaded onto the client computer. Okay, now? Okay. So fine. This is all about static page. And next, another thing is called dynamic page. What is the dynamic page? Suppose I'm writing, I'm opening Amazon site. I want to search for a product here. I want to search for a product called as iPhone. When I just search for iPhone, immediately it's just going to get me the list of iPhone models. Is this page readily kept on the server, readily prepared and kept on the server, so that when I make a request, it will be downloaded onto my computer? Is this page readily kept on the server so that if I make a request, so that it will be coming and sitting on my computer? Tell me. No, not at all. This page is not readily kept on the server. Then when I make a request, when I just go for performing a search here, when I perform a search here, this page is going to be dynamically created. This page is going to be dynamically created by loading the values from the database. Dynamically created by loading the values from a database. This is what we call as a dynamic web page. This is what we call as a dynamic web page. Did you understand the difference between static web page and dynamic web page? All of you, did you understand the difference between a static and a dynamic web page? Static web page means on a request they will load. Dynamic web page means they're created. They're created when you make a request. Come on, read it. Read all of you. Static web pages means these pages are designed and put on the server, so that whenever a request comes from clients to the server for those pages, server will directly send them to client as is. I'll tell you a best example for a static page. A static page is like a idli. It is like a idli in a restaurant. Static page is like a idli in a restaurant. If you go to a restaurant or order for a idli and order for a idli, do they prepare this idli when you order it? Do they prepare this idli when you order it? No. Have you noticed it in a restaurant? It's already prepared and kept. It is already prepared and kept. They will be putting that in a hot box. They will be, after cooked, they're putting in a hot box. And when you ordered for idli, automatically they will put the idli from the hot box. They'll put it on your particular table and give you. Am I right? Understood? Huh? Dynamic web page is like a dosa. Dynamic web page is like a dosa. Is dosa readily prepared and kept for you so that if you ask dosa, they'll put dosa on your plate and give you? Tell me. Varieties of dosas will be there. When you order for a dosa, based on your order, they prepare and give you. So I hope you understood the difference between a static and dynamic page. Idli is a idli, vada. These are, tell me, you order idli, vada, bonda, these type of things. These are all static pages. Okay. Dosa, dosa. It's like a dynamic page. Got it correctly? That's what. You can read. All of you. Read both the two things. So you go to your bank, ask for a transaction report. I want a transaction report for the last 1 year. For the last 1 year. So because today you will come and ask for a 1 year transaction report, the bank is not preparing it, keeping it ready. When you ask it, he will take a printout of the report. So that is dynamically generated. Come on, read both the two paragraphs and tell me you have any doubts on it. Okay for everyone now? So that's what a static page and a dynamic page. That is what a static page and a dynamic page is going to be. Fine. Next. Now, let us start our discussion with the static web page creation. Let us start up our discussion with the static web page creation. Later, we'll learn about a dynamic web page creation. Okay. Now, how to create a static web page? Creating a static web page. All of you have a look. Creating a static web page. To create static web pages, okay, we need to take the help of few languages and technology. To create static web pages, we require to take the help of few languages and technologies. What are the languages and technologies we require to take the help of the static web pages? One, HTML. Two, scripting languages. Three, CSS and Bootstrap. The first one is HTML, second one is scripting languages, and third one is CSS or the Bootstrap. So these things are required for creating a static web page. So we'll start from creating a static web page. So from there only we are going to start. So first of all, let us all start the discussion from where? From HTML. First of all, let us all start the discussion from where? From HTML. And we'll start with HTML. Next, I'll teach you scripting languages. Next, I'll teach you CSS or Bootstrap. And then, after completing all these things, then we'll go to dynamic web pages. To create a dynamic web pages, along with these three, we need one more extra. To create a dynamic web page along with these three, we need one more extra. So that's why first I'll tell you HTML, scripting languages, CSS or Bootstrap, and then I will take you to the dynamic web pages. And what is the fourth one we require to learn for dynamic web pages? I'll teach you. Are you clear? Are you clear what I said you? Okay. Now let's start with HTML. HTML. Let's all start with HTML. What is HTML? The full form of HTML is hypertext markup language. The full form of HTML is hypertext markup language. What is this HTML or the hypertext markup language? Let me tell you. What is this HTML or the hypertext markup language? Okay, let's try to understand. HTML. Actually, all of you, yeah, all of you, just notice this. Just notice this one. What to notice? What is this HTML? So, what is the full form I said you? It stands for hypertext markup language. HTML basically stands for hypertext markup language. Yeah. For creating web pages, we require hyper HTML. But what is the need of the HTML? What is the need of HTML? This is a big question. What required to understand first? This is a big question. What you just require to understand first. What is the use of HTML? See, all of you in internet, in internet, the communication happens between heterogeneous systems. The communication happens between heterogeneous systems. What is it? Heterogeneous systems? Heterogeneous system in the sense, um, like you can access an application from any operating system, any device. Yes or not? You can access an application from any location, from any operating system, from any device. Do we have any barriers? Like you require to access this application only from this particular device only, or this particular operating system only, or this particular location only? Do you have any of this? Yeah. That's what here. So the communication here, if you just correctly understand, it is between heterogeneous systems. The communication here, it is between heterogeneous systems, not homogeneous systems. It is heterogeneous systems. Means anywhere to anywhere the communication can take place. anywhere to anywhere, the communication can take place, heterogeneous systems. Okay. Now, all of us require to understand one important concept here. What is it? Because the communication is between heterogeneous systems, because the communication is between heterogeneous systems here, because the heterogeneous communication, what we just have in this particular case, you all require to notice a point. What is that? When you want to communicate between any device to any device, basically, when you want to communicate between any device to any device, we will be facing a big problem now. We will be facing a big problem. What is the problem? The problem what all of us will be facing is, the problem what all of us will be facing is platform dependency problem. What is the problem? Platform dependency problem. What is the platform dependency problem? Yes, yeah. Understand your thing. What is it? What is this? What is this platform dependency problem? See, when you want to communicate between device to device, when you want to communicate between device to device, ultimately platform dependency problem will come now. Different operating systems to operating system. Ultimately, the platform dependency problem is going to come now. Understood or not? Okay. Because array, Windows to Windows means fine here. You want to communicate with Windows to Unix, Unix to Linux means information, different softwares, different hardwares. From anywhere to anywhere, we want to transport the data. If you want to transport the data from anywhere to anywhere like this, if you want to transport the data from anywhere to anywhere like this, we need we need something which is going to be platform independent. Did you catch my point? We need something which is going to be platform independent for transporting the data from one place to another place. We need something which is going to be platform independent for transporting the data from one place to another place. Did you catch my point? Yes or not? So, so what is the platform independent format for transporting the data from one place to another place? What is the platform independent format for transporting the data from one place to another place? Did you get my question? So we need a platform independent format for transporting the data from one place to another place. Okay? See, listen. To transport the data in a platform independent way from one place to another place, the industry depends upon. The industry depends upon this. What it depends upon? It depends upon text format. It depends upon text format. Are you clear? It depends on what? Text format. Why text format? Because text documents are platform independent. They depend upon text format because text documents are platform independent. All of you remember, in internet, the communication between the devices will take place in text. In internet, the communication between the devices will be taking place in text. What do you mean by that? What do you mean here? When I send a request to a server, the server will not send the information for you. The server is going to send you the information for you in the text only. Yesterday also I shown you this. If you recollect yourself, what's it? Right click on this, and you say and you choose the appropriate option called as view page source. When you select the option view page source, it is just going to show you the source, nearly a big data. All this is what exactly the server is sending to you, and the browser is going to read this data and showing for you like this. Can you understand this? Can you understand this? Can the end user understand this one? End user cannot understand this. Because the end user cannot understand, the browser is going to show you the output for you in a meaningful format. The browser is going to show the information for you in a meaningful format. In a meaningful format, the browser is going to show you the data. So did you all catch my point? The browser is going to display the information for you in a meaningful format like this now. So the very important point I want to tell to all of you is in internet, in internet, the communication between the devices will always takes place in the text format only. In internet, all of you, you are going to be a developer, and as a developer, all of you just to put this in the mind. What you should put in the mind, the complete information between the devices will always takes place for you in the complete communication between all the devices will take place for you in text format only. In text format only, the transportation of the device it will take place. Why text format? Why text format? Because you know that text documents have three advantages. Text documents have three advantages. What are the three advantages? First one, text documents are platform independent. Text documents are platform independent. The first advantage is text documents are platform independent. Second advantage, text documents are faster in transportation. Text documents are platform independent and text documents are faster in transportation. And third advantage is text documents occupy the least space in the memory. Are you people clear? Text documents are platform independent. Text documents are faster in transportation. Text documents occupy least space in the memory. They'll be occupying the least space in the memory. And because of all these advantages, in internet, the communications between the systems will always happen in the text format. According to the W3C standards, the complete information transportation will be text only. All of you, read these 2 points from here to here. Come on, read them. Is it clear to all? Okay. Now we'll have a big doubt here. What is the doubt we'll have? The doubt what we'll be having is if text documents are used for transportation of the data, if text documents are used here for transportation of the data, what is the need of HTML? What is the need of this HTML? Okay, let me tell you. Text documents are platform independent here, can be transported easily from one place to another place. Text documents are platform independent, which can be used for transporting the data from one place to another place. But unfortunately, text documents suffer from a problem. Text documents suffer from a problem. What is the problem? Problem what the text document will suffer for you is formatting problem. What is that formatting problem? Formatting problem in the sense, if you design a text document on one computer, if you design a text document on one computer and send it to another computer, send it to another computer, the text content won't change. The text content won't change, but the text content is not going to change, but the alignments and the formatting will change off. But the alignments and the formatting will change off. Have you noticed any time you prepare a resume on on one machine? If you try to open your resume, if you try to open your resume on any other machine, if you try to open your resume on any other machine, you'll be changing. You will be noticing the alignments getting changed. Haven't you noticed any time? Noticed it or not? That is the problem. What you have with text documents. That is the problem. What you have with text documents. Okay, now? So this is what. Yeah, a lot of times you'll be noticing this one. So this is a big problem what you'll be facing with the text documents. This is a big problem what you will be facing with the text documents actually. Formatting problem. What you just call it as formatting problem. Okay, now? So now suppose on one device I designed a document. After designing a document on one computer, when I send it to the other computer, if you don't get the output as expected, if you don't get the output as expected or as designed, that is waste or not? If you don't get the output as designed or expected, that is waste or not? Waste now. So what we expect is we just require to get the output as designed or as expected. If you cannot get that output as designed or expected, that is going to be waste. Okay, so this is exactly the problem with the text documents. To overcome this particular problem, they just provided you a language called as HTML. They provided you a language called as HTML, and with the help of this HTML, you can format a document in a proper way so that wherever you send the document, it opens to you exactly in the way you expect. It opens to you exactly in the way you expect, means browser to browser, computer to computer, no variation is going to come. So in all the computers and in all the locations, the output is expected to be in the same way. The output is going to come for you in the same way. That's the advantage what you'll be having with HTML. That is the need of HTML. See, suppose I'm going to create you a small text document. I'm going to create you a small text document which should open in a browser. Actually, in a company's website, not in a company's website, like it's a website of Hyderabad Police Department. Think like this is a website of Hyderabad Police Department. And when you open this website of Hyderabad Police Department, when you open the website of Hyderabad Police Department, actually, um, they just wanted to display some um, in the site when you open in the first when the site opens they want to display some message like this. What is this? A warning message to all the people. Warning. Yeah, they wanted to display warning message. So this is a strict warning to all the people of Hyderabad. Yeah, something they want to design people of Hyderabad. Um, that is from today. That is from today, um, 7th of 7th of January. It is mandatory for everyone to use a mask while coming out of your home. Out of your home, and if violated, will be punished under the court of law. Will be punished under the court of law. Okay. Regards, Commissioner, Commissioner, Hyderabad Police. Commissioner, Hyderabad Police. Is it clear? This is what exactly they want to show. So whenever a website is opened, exactly this is what has to be shown up for all the particular people. Whenever whoever tries to open the website, this has to be displayed to them. Whoever opens the website, this has to be displayed for them. This is the requirement now. This is the requirement. Okay, now. So this is the requirement for all the people now. So whenever the website is open, this information has to be shown. Now they designed this like this now, and they just put it on the server. They just put it on the server now. So when the site is open, this page should be coming for you as a default page. When the site is open, this page should be coming for you as a default page. As a default page, this page has to be loaded there. Okay. And now everything was properly designed. Okay. Now see, web pages, static web pages, mainly static web pages. Static web pages are saved with .html extension. Static web pages are saved with .html extension. We will be saving this particular pages with the .html extension actually. So let me save this page with the .html extension where on my desktop I'll store you. I'll store this page as warning, warning, okay, dot html, warning.html, saving on the desktop. Yeah, on the desktop. When I double click on it, the page is open for me. See here, how did I design and how did I get the output? Watch it. Is it how you typed? We just put some warning on the center and the top, afterwards a message, and below that we just been typing regards Commissioner Hyderabad. But the plain text is showing you like this, that's all. Are you clear? This looks like a normal message. See, when you open this, some bold case, red color, if you highlight and show like this, then people will understand about this one. But without that, if you just show information like this means who will understand here? No one can understand. Right or wrong? Oh no? This is the drawback with the text documents. This is the drawback. To overcome this particular drawback, we are provided with a language called as HTML. We are provided with a language called as HTML. And with this HTML, with this particular HTML, we can get the output of the page as expected. You can get the output of the page as expected. If you put something in the center of the notepad or of the document editor, if you put something in the center of the editor, the browser won't show you on the center. Then how can I get this in the center of my browser? If I want to get this in the center of my browser, what should I do? Okay, just watch. Center, center. What is this? That is only HTML. That is only HTML. This is called as a tag. This is called as a tag. I'll explain you. This is called as a tag. Center by center. Center by center. Now come to the browser, refresh. Got it? I want this in a bigger font size. I want this in a bigger font size, red color. Bigger font size, red color. Okay. Font size is equals to, I'm giving the size as 5 by font. See the, you got this in a bigger font size. I want it in a bold, bold. Want it bold? Yeah, bold. Bold. I want to underline. I want to underline. I want in red color. I want this in red color. So you can see now you got all the things perfectly got it. You got all the things perfectly aligned. Are you people clear? You got it as expected. You got it as expected. Okay, next. I want this particular information to be displayed in a paragraph. I want this information to be displayed in a paragraph format. Okay. So there is a tag called P. stands for paragraph. Paragraph. You got in a paragraph format. Okay. And I want this regards Commissioner Police, Hyderabad Police in the next line. I want this in the next line. A break tag for two times, double break tag, two lines of break I want. Got it as expected? Did we get the output as expected? So this is the importance of HTML. This is the requirement or the importance of the HTML. Okay, come on, all of you, read it. Text documents suffer from formatting problem. That is when a text document is designed on one machine using some editor and sent to any other device, it is not guaranteed the output will be as designed. There is no guarantee the output will be as designed. Okay, now next point number four. Read the point number four. To resolve the above problem, we are provided with a language known as HTML. We are provided with a language known as HTML, which will take the responsibility of displaying web pages in a proper format on the target device from wherever the web page is being accessed or requested. To resolve the above problem, we are provided with a language known as HTML, which will take the responsibility of displaying web pages in a on proper format on the target device from wherever um, from wherever the web page is being accessed. From wherever the web page is being accessed. Are you people clear? Wherever the web page is being accessed. Okay, so that's what. Ah, what is the need of HTML? All of you read it. We use HTML along with the text. We use HTML along with the text to describe the browser. To describe the browser, how it has to display output of the page to users. This is to describe the browser, how the output has to be displayed on the browser to the users, how it has to be displayed. So we use HTML along with text to describe the browser, how it has to display output of a page to user. See here, see here, all of you. Here I'm using now, and I'm using this, and I'm telling the text should be in the center. Okay, the font size is 5 and the color is red, and it should be a bold and underline. All these things we are just using here to tell or describe the browser how the output has to be shown to the user now. So we are using only HTML, or we are using HTML and text in combination. Understood now? We are using HTML and text in combination with each other. We are using HTML and text in combination with each other. In combination with each other, we are just going to use it. We are going to use it in our application. Just not only one. So both the two things we are just using for getting the output as expected. Okay. So clear. This is what. Next. Read the sixth point here. read the sixth point. Sorry. Correct. Correct one. Read the sixth point. What is the sixth point? To understand HTML, we need a software known as HTML interpreter or parser. And this software is an integral part of every browser which will understand HTML instructions and display the output on browser. What is this? See here, you designed web pages with the help of HTML. But see, to understand that HTML, to understand that HTML, browser requires a software to be present in it. To understand HTML, browser requires a software to be present on it. What is that software? The software what a browser requires to be present on his particular computer, on his device is a HTML interpreter, a HTML interpreter or HTML parser, a HTML interpreter or HTML parser. These are just actually required. So if you don't have this interpreter or a parser, if you don't have the interpreter or a parser, you cannot you cannot just go for displaying the web pages. So if you want the web pages to be displayed properly, compulsory what you require HTML interpreter or you require HTML parser, and that interpreter or parser is built in into your browser. That interpreter or parser is built in into your browser. So what do you mean to say? Is this directly present in my browser? Yes, exactly. That's what I'm telling you. That is directly present on your browser. That is directly present on your browser. And once you ask it, automatically that is going to download and display. Automatically that is just going to come into action, displaying you the page or the content as expected. Are you clear up to point number six? Are you people clear up to point number six? Okay. Next, HTML is never displayed in the output of a page. HTML is never displayed in the output of a page, but it is just used to describe how to display the content of a web page in a web browser. Are you clear? HTML is never displayed. HTML is never displayed in the output of a page. It is never displayed for you in the output of a page actually. Not show error, yeah. That is not displayed in the output of a page. See the output of a page. In the output of a page, you are not able to see HTML at all. In the output of a page, you are not able to see HTML at all. What are you seeing? You are just seeing only text. So that's what I'm telling you. HTML is never displayed in the output of a page. It is just used to describe how to display the content of the web page in a browser. It will only tell how this has to be displayed. This will only tell how this has to be displayed, but it is never going to be displayed. Okay, now. And these are the versions of the HTML. These are the versions of the HTML. HTML, actually, first it was launched in the year 1991. Year HTML was first launched in the year 1991. And afterwards, in 1995, there is 2.0. 1997, there is a 3.2. 1999, we have 4.0. Afterwards, nearly for 15 years, there are no updates to it. Nearly for 15 years, there are no updates to it. And again, in 2014, HTML5 came. And the current version is HTML5 only. Under HTML5, there is HTML 5.1, 5.2 are just only minor changes for the things. That's all. Okay. So the thing is, we're just going to have the current version is going to be the five. Five is the current version. Next. Just now I explained you. All of you have a look on it. A static web page that is created by using HTML is saved with a .html or .htm extension. See, static web pages that are created by using HTML are saved with a .html or .htm extension. The extension is either going to be a .html extension, or the extension is either going to be a .htm extension. So what did I say? Array HTML I said you. If you want, you can save with the HTML extension also, no problem. Okay, now next. HTML is an error-free language. That is, if at all the browser understands it, if at all the browser understands it, then it will display the output based on those instructions, or else it ignores and continues. It is an error-free language. If the browser understands, it is just going to uh, understand it and displays the output as expected, or else it will ignore it. Okay. What do you mean by this? Just watch. Here I will U tag. U stands for underline. Here I just use the tag called as U. And U is basically underline. For underline point of view, we just use U. Okay. But now in the place of U, I'm writing V. I'm writing V. But we don't have any tag called V. We don't have any tag called as V. V. There is no tag called as V available. Because there is no tag called as V available here, when I try to run this in the browser, I will not get any error, but underline is not shown because V tag is not available. So not showing you underline without showing underline, it is directly going to, it is directly going to display this. But did you get any error? Did you get any error, anyone? Tell me, is there any error? There is no error. Why? Because that's what I said to you. It's a error-free language here. If it understands the tags, it will display the output based on those things. If it doesn't understand, it simply ignores and continues, but never gives an error. See, if you get an error, one problem. If you don't get an error, another problem. If you don't get an error, we don't know what is the issue. Really, getting an error is a good sign here. If you get an error, we can fix the error. But if you don't get an error and don't get the output as expected, really that is going to be irritating. We don't know the exact problem. Are you people clear what I'm telling you? Array, when you don't know the problem, how can we fix it? So that's what exactly I'm just trying to tell you. Okay, now? So this is what. So that what is a HTML error-free language. Next, HTML is a collection of elements and entities. HTML is a collection of elements and entities. So listen carefully. Elements and entities. What are elements? What are elements and what are entities? Have a look. Eh? What is this? I did not ask you to read it. What is that? That is the question. No, it's called as a element. It is called as a element, not entity. It is called as a element. So basically, we call this as a element actually. Okay, element is anything. Element is anything that is enclosed between. Element is anything that is enclosed between the angular braces. If you enclose anything into the angular braces, we call that as a element. If we enclose anything into the angular braces, we call that as a element. Element is anything that is enclosed for you into the angular braces. Point clear? Okay. And now you remember every element will be having two every element will be having two tags in it. Every element will be having two tags in it. What are the two tags? Starting tag and ending tag. Starting tag and the ending tag. What is this? This is called as a starting tag and this is called as a ending tag. Are you clear? This is called as a starting tag and this is called as a ending tag. We have two tags in it, starting tag and the ending tag. So these are the two things what every element is going to contain in it. Okay. So watch it. HTML is a collection of elements and entities, and elements are nothing but tags. Elements are nothing but tags which are enclosed between. Array, under element tags are there. Every element is going to have tags in it. Elements are nothing but tags. I did not say there is something different. Exact name is element. Elements are nothing but tags. Okay, which are enclosed between angular braces. Angular braces. Whereas entities represent special symbols and characters which are enclosed between ampersand and semicolon. Which is enclosed between ampersand and semicolon. So what is that? Say, here I'm showing you Commissioner Hyderabad Police. Here I'm showing you Commissioner Hyderabad Police. Okay, just carefully listen to me. Commissioner Hyderabad Police. Now, beside this Hyderabad Police, beside this particular Hyderabad Police, what I have here, I just wanted to just a display like a registered trademark. I want to display registered trademark. Arey, have you seen a registered trademark? You'll have a circle and inside of it you will say R, registered. Circle and the circle you'll be finding R now. So what it represents? It represents registered. I want it. Are you clear? But do you have that symbol on your computer? Do you have that symbol on your computer? We don't have that symbol on your computer. Then how to get that? How to get that registered symbol on the now? This is the place entities comes into picture. You want to get that now? Ampersand reg semicolon. Ampersand reg semicolon. Okay, just watch. You will get that now. Got it? It represents some special symbols like this. These are called entities. These are called entities. And entities are enclosed between ampersand and semicolon. Elements are enclosed between angular braces. Entities are enclosed between ampersand and the semicolon. Yeah, all of you, you can read it. HTML is a collection of elements and entities, and elements are nothing but tags which are enclosed between angular braces, whereas entities represent the special symbols and characters which are enclosed between ampersand and semicolon. Okay, now next, next. Every element will have two tags, starting tag, ending tag. Every element will have two tags here, starting tag, ending tag. This is called starting tag. This is called ending tag. Center by center, bold by bold, underline by underline. Starting tag and ending tag. Every element will be having the two tags like this. A starting tag will be there and one ending tag is going to be present. Okay. And the content between the starting tag and ending tag is known as inner HTML. And the content between the starting tag and ending tag is known as inner HTML. We call that as a inner HTML. And if there is no inner HTML, and if there is no inner HTML, we can end that tag directly in the start tag only when we call that as a empty HTML element. All of you have a look. Have a look here. You, hello world, by you. So what is that? Hello world is the inner HTML. Hello world is the inner HTML. Understand the point. Hello world. What is the hello world? Inner HTML. Clear? Huh? So there is some content. Now look at this tag. BR by BR. Break tag. This is a break tag. Have you noticed that I used a break tag here? I used a break tag here. So basically, the break tag, you look at the break tag. Is there any content between the break tag? Is there any content between the starting and ending tag? Look at that. Is there any content between the starting tag and ending tag? No content, no. Because there is no content between the starting tag and ending tag, we can directly end the statement like this, br, and in the last we can put a slash, and we call this as a empty HTML element. What do we call this? Empty HTML element. Same way, HR, this is an empty HTML element. These are good examples for empty HTML elements. Our center, paragraph, um, like underline, bold, all these things what I used are not empty HTML elements. They are going to have starting and ending tag also. Clear? Okay. Next. Um, Tags can also have attributes. Tags can also have attributes, and they are used for providing any. They are used for providing additional information. They are used for providing additional information to the element. They are used for providing additional information to the elements. What is this? You look at this font. Color is equals to size is equals to 5. Color is equals to red. Are just now I shown you in your code is a size is equals to 5, color is equals to red. See, font is a element, and attributes are used for providing additional information to the element. Attributes are used for providing additional information to the element. Some additional information. Okay, I'm going to specify a size here. I'm going to specify a color. These are what we call attributes. See, tags can also have attributes, and they're used for providing additional information to the element. And all of you be careful. In the above case, size and color are attributes of the font tag. Size and color are the attributes of the font tag, and the attribute comes in name value pairs. Name value pairs. Name is equals to value. Size is the name. 5 is equals to value. Color is the name. Red is the value. Attributes must be used in starting tag only. Attributes must be used in starting tag only, and values to those attributes must be enclosed under double quotes. You cannot write these attributes in the ending tag. Always attributes should come in the starting tag, and the values of the element of these attributes should be in the double quotes. And the values of this particular attributes should be present in the double quotes. You just require to put the attribute values into the double quotes actually. I hope you are clear. Okay. Next, some characters are not present on our keyboard, like a pound sign, euro sign, yen sign, Indian rupee sign, trademark, registered symbol, etc. And see all these particular characters. Do you find them in your keyboard? Dollar sign is there, but do you have a pound sign? Do you have a euro sign? We don't have them on the keyboard. And also, some characters are reserved in HTML. For example, less than and greater than signs in our text. Less than and greater than signs in our text. What is this less than and greater than signs in our text? Observe this one. Observe this. Look at this one. Here, I'm putting a HR, horizontal rule actually. It's a horizontal line. Yeah, you get a horizontal line here. And now below this, I just wanted to display some information. What information? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. I want to show like this. HTML. I want to show HTML is a formatting language. I want to get the output like this only. I want to get the output like this only. Understand? HTML is a formatting language. I want to get the output like this. Okay, now open the browser. But see, I'm not getting HTML is. I'm getting is a formatting language. Are why you're not getting HTML? Because this is going to be counted like a tag. Tags are not displayed on the browser. This is going to be counted like a tag, and tags will not be displayed on the browser. But I want the output like this. If you want to get the output like this, just watch ampersand LT semicolon, ampersand GT semicolon. Watch it. Did you get the output expected? These are all basically reserved words here. These are all basically reserved words. What is that? Some characters are reserved in HTML. For example, less than, greater than signs in our text. Okay, which the browser might consider as tags. And to resolve these problems, we have entities. To resolve these particular problems, we basically use entities. We can use entities in two different ways. We can use entities in two different ways. What are the two different ways? First option, ampersand entity name semicolon, ampersand has entity number. Every entity has a name and number also. What is that? See, just now I used an entity called LT. LT means less than. It has a number also. What is the number? 60 is the number. 60 is the number. For example, to display a less than sign, we can use any of the following. Watch it, ampersand LT semicolon or ampersand 60. 60 is the ASCII value of less than sign. You can give in any of the two ways. Are you people clear? I can use in both the two ways. Okay, na? And generally, named entities are easy to remember, whereas numbered entities are recognized or supported by all browsers. Named entities are easy to remember here, all of you. Listen to me. Named entities are easy to remember, whereas numbered entities are recognized or supported by all browsers. That's just for your note. Okay. And a list of some important entities in HTML. List of some important entities in HTML. See, non-breaking space, ampersand NBSP. What is it? Actually, I want some space between commissioner and Hyderabad police. Commissioner, I want some space between commissioner and Hyderabad police. How many character space? 5 character space I want. One, two, three, four, five. 5 character space. Now come here and see in the browser. I'm not getting it. I did not get that space. Why? You won't get it. If you want to get the space, what should I do? Ampersand NBSP. Even though you give a line break there, or even though you give 10 spaces, browser will show one space only. In your editor, you give a line break, you give 5 spaces, but browser won't show. Browser will show only one space. So if you want more number of spaces, you just require to use this ampersand NBSP. Non-breaking space, actually. It is called as a non-breaking space. Got it? See? Got it? Huh? This is what. This is what exactly NBSP is. Okay, same way, less than, greater than symbol. If you want ampersand, you want cent, you want pound symbol, yen symbol, euro symbol, copyright symbol, registered trademark, Indian rupee. You can get Indian rupee. If you want a symbol, use this one. If you want RS, use this one. And finally, last point. What is it? HTML is not a case sensitive language. HTML is not a case sensitive language, but according to W3C standards, it is suggested to use HTML elements, attributes, and entities in lowercase. Did you understand the last point? It is not case sensitive, but suggestion is use it in the lowercase. Suggestion is use it in the lowercase. Okay, so this is all about HTML, interaction to HTML. So tomorrow onwards, I will show you the various HTML tags and elements, what are elements and entities that are available, and how to create web pages by using them. How to create the web pages by using them, I'll show you in the next class onwards. Okay, now let's stop it here. We'll meet tomorrow. Good night, all of you. The timing is between 6 to 8 here. 1.5 hours, I'll take the class. The timing will be between 6 to 8. Okay. It is between 6 to 8, 1.5 hours, I'll take the class.